This is the progress that we have on our rear suspension. We have the frame set at ride height right now. It's about 4 inches up, so we have some 4x4 blocks under here to stimulate, ride height. And then we have our lower link at about 15 degrees for ride height. And we made it to where if you ever need to change the angle from 15 degrees for like a better ride, you could just drill however many holes to mount them where you need them. And we have our lower link mounts right there. And then here we have our bag mounts on the axle tube and the frame. We have that set at where it needs to be for the bags. And now we are working on getting our upper links mounted to the frame, and we're going to show you how to do that in a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna explain how to find where to mount your upper links. So first, put your frame or your suspension or whatever at the lowest point of your suspension travel, which for us would be at the ground, because you can't go any lower than when it's flat on the ground. So once you have your frame at the lowest suspension travel, we have our pinion pointed directly at the end of our transmission right there. So with the most important part is that you have your frame to the lowest point and you have your pinion angle pointed at the end of your transmission. And then you get your upper link, because we're finding out how to mount this. And you're going to get your marker. You're going to put a marker in your upper link and hold it to one side so you know it's consistent. And you're going to draw an arc across your frame, across the whole travel of your link. Okay? There you go. Just like that. Okay, so then what you do is you go ahead and you raise your frame to the top of your suspension travel, which for us would be 7 inches. However, our rear bags do go to 8 inches, but we don't want to have them maxed out for the top ride height. Not the top ride height, the top suspension travel, so we're gonna go with 7 inches instead. So you do that, and then you reset your pinion angle to where, again, it's pointing at the tail end of your transmission. Very important. So once you have your pinion angle pointing back at the tail end of your transmission again, once you raise it, because when you raise it, it's going to change it, you go ahead and do the exact same thing you did last time. Get your marker and your upper link, and you draw your arc that it travels on. I didn't draw it right. There we go. Well, dang. Okay, well, you can't see it. There's nothing there to draw on, but there's an arc line there, okay? But we just don't have to have a plate there for it to go. But it's going to intersect about right there. We'll figure that out a little bit later on. But the reason that this is important is, say our point's right at the end of this line. That point, when you mount your upper link to that point, that means that no matter where you are in your suspension travel, that your pinion will always be pointed at the tail end of your transmission. So your driveline, no matter anywhere you are in your bags, it will always be pointing at the tail end of your transmission. So that's why this is important. You lower it and raise it, so that means that this is where this can be at all times. So yeah. Here is our progress on the upper link mounts to the frame. They look pretty cool. Really unique, abstract art looking stuff, but you know, it's what we need. So here's the other one, the driver's side. Let's see how that goes on there. And yeah, so here's your mount that you just put pretty much where it needs to go, and then that's what it looks like. Let me set this down. That's what it looks like after you weld it, and yeah, works great. We had the link in there before, but we took it out so we could measure for this one. So that's why that link's there. But yeah, looks great, works great, everything. So we're also working on boxing this, so it's not just a plate sitting there. And for structural integrity, we will be boxing that in. So yep, we're almost done actually. And just like that, we got our second link mount welded in, and then we went ahead and burned all of these mounts in and got them cleaned up, fully welded where they're going to be. We got our links put in and where they're supposed to be, and tried it out a little bit up and down and seemed to fine. Got our bags in. So this is actually at ride height, which is 4 inches, which is why we have some 4x4s. So this is the frame at ride height. And also this truck is a dually. We just haven't gotten the other 2 tires back yet, so this will look a little different. But yeah, and got all this boxed in, like I said. Looks great. It's actually still a little warm, but yeah, it looks pretty good. Got all that burned in, but yeah, I think it looks awesome. So yeah, we also tested it at, like, when it's dropped to the ground, and then also when it's at max height, and the differential, the driveline length actually only changes a little bit, which is really good. So that's because, you know, that's the whole point of the placement of these upper mounts, is now our drive shaft length only changes just a tiny amount, which is good. So it'll help with, we can have different heights without breaking something. So yep, got it all finished. It looks great. We'll be working on the front suspension, cantilever suspension next after this, and you guys will get to see that as well.